In this video, I want to show you how you can use Claude to generate high quality blog posts that include a lot of real world data, links to external sources, charts, and which can be exported to Google Docs or to Microsoft Word. So it will be full ready to publish blog posts of a very high quality. First, let me explain why prompt like generate a blog post about this and that doesn't really work. It doesn't work because at the end, Claude will generate your blog post, but it will be kind of AI slop, right? It will be not interesting to read. It will not include any unique data. It will probably not include any charts, any images in it. And in order to improve the quality of this blog post, you would want to build some kind of pipeline of how you generate them. Let me show you this pipeline. Let's say I want to generate a blog post about AI adoption in companies in 2026. So recent data, Claude doesn't know about these statistics by default because LLMs are usually outdated. They have some knowledge cutoff, which is usually half a year ago, maybe even a year ago. So we shouldn't just ask generate a blog post about AI adoption because it doesn't know. First step, what we're going to do is we will turn on deep research. So I click here, I click research, and you see that deep research is turned on. It means that Claude will first do deep research. So we don't mention anything about blog posts yet. So what we're going to ask Claude to do is research AI adoption in companies in 2026. Obviously, if you want more precise topic, then you would specify it here. And when we start deep research, Claude usually asks a couple of questions about what it wants us to do research about. So it asks about scope, angle, and output. So for the scope, I want US, adoption rates. For the angle, I want adoption rates and stats. And for output, I want broad landscape, not focusing on some specific niche. Now we start the research. It asks us which tools do we want to use. If you have some connectors, some MCPs turned on here, you can turn them on. For example, you can turn on Gmail if you need, or you can turn on Google Drive if you have some useful data for that. I'll turn off all the tools. So it will use just web. It will use like a lot of web searches and some specific algorithm to do the research. Let's click confirm. And now we need to wait for a few minutes for it to do research. If you click here, you will see that Claude is exactly doing a lot of searches, tasks for itself, executing on those tasks. And when we come back after a few minutes, we'll have research, which we'll use in order to generate the blog post itself. Now the research is done, and you can see that Claude used 255 sources and worked for around 8 minutes, which is, I think itself very useful that we have so many sources with real data that we can cite instead of Claude hallucinating some statistics. And here is our research report. Obviously, you can take a look at it, TLDR, key findings. You can read this report, and then you can decide on what data you want to include into your blog post. Now, let's say I'm happy with this and I want to generate a blog post out of it. So the next step I would do is not generating the full blog post, but I will generate blog post outline. And I will also ask Claude to add some kind of charts, ideas into the outline. Generate blog post outline for blog post about AI adoption. Include ideas for charts based on this data. Don't generate blog post itself. Now, this is something I mentioned just in case, because sometimes Claude decides to generate the blog post here. Okay, we have first a couple of options for title. Let's say I want to go with AI adoption in 2026, what the data actually says. We have hook, thesis, chart idea, and we have all the sections described with charts in each section. We have conclusion, call to action. So let's now ask Claude to generate a blog post in DOCX format. You generate a blog post in DOCX format, use title 2, don't include any call to action. And you can see that I mentioned DOCX format. I do this because I want these blog posts to specifically contain charts as images. And you can't place images in Markdown directly. You have to download them separately. And also DOCX can be easily converted to Google Docs. And you can do this inside Claude. So let's now run this prompt. You can see that is reading specific DOCX skill, which extends Claude's capability to generate something. By default, it can't generate DOCX, but using this skill, it can how to do it. It's basically embedded into all Claude. So if you have a Claude code, it's the skill that is available by default. You don't need to install it, and you can just use it, but you have to be explicit that you want to have DOCX format as an output, and it will do it. Okay, Claude generated this blog post, and now we can see what we don't like, what we like, etc. So we see no charts, no links to the sources, and we are going to fix it. Let's go to Claude and let's ask, add all charts from the outline to the DOCX, include inline links to sources from research. Okay, and now Claude did some magic, added a lot of charts, added links, and now we can see the blog post here. So we have charts, you see different types of charts, and you can also see inline links in the blog post. And we have quite solid 8 pages of blog post. Now we can download this file as docx if you click here, or we can click on this open in Drive button and it will create Google Doc file automatically for us. Here we can see the whole blog post with all the charts, all the links, everything. So now you can obviously upload it to your website or export it as PDF or do whatever you want with it. Cool, thank you very much for watching and see you next time.